everyone, welcome to Global EduTalk, yet another episode, and today it is going to be very, very interesting. Global EduTalks is a show where I bring industry expert education leaders to you, and students, parents, you can directly ask questions to the experts or just watch our show and get the information. Education is the passport to the future, and then education is no more local, it is going global. From Kathmandu to London or Dhaka to Toronto, students are imagining bigger and they're looking for good opportunities around. Today in this show, we have a very good personality from Malvern International. He's David Thompson, Director of Student Operations. So let me welcome David to the show, and we'll chit-chat about Malvern International and how Malvern is helping international students around the world. Welcome to the show, David.
Thanks, Jackson. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Okay, give us an introduction about yourself and also introduction about Malvern International. What is Malvern International?
Yeah, so I've been working at Malvern International for a long time now, and we are a pathway provider. So we focus on, for those students that need additional help, additional support to get into university, maybe they have a difference in qualifications, maybe they could do with additional language support, whatever they need for them to be successful in their degree, we're there to give them that additional support for them to start their studies.
And also, university degree is no more just a qualification, right? It's an investment. So what do you think? Tell us more about why should student go for a pathway program, or let's say, how can pathway program help out students in their future, let's say, career, academic decisions?
Yeah, great question. So I think it's important to understand that a lot of international students, they're coming to study in the UK because we're known as the home of great education. And part of that is, students understand in the UK we have a different teaching style, a different philosophy, we're developing different skills in students. They're moving to a whole new education system. And as part of that transition, it's a big change, and students need to get used to a different teaching style, different expectations. I've likened it before to people where, imagine there's a busy motorway and you're trying to join that motorway. You're coming from one system to another system. It's very dangerous to be stagnant, stop in a car, and then trying to pull onto a fast, busy lane. Exactly. A pathway program's all about bringing you up to speed, adapting you in smaller classes, 100% international students, and letting you understand the expectations of a new environment. What do you need to do to be successful? How can we help you? How can we support you? How can we give you the additional language you need, that as you pick up speed and you join that motorway, you're on the same destination, the same journey, but you join it in a safe, supported way. And pathway programs are all about structuring that additional support for you to do fantastic on your degree.
And also, what I see is whenever students, they inquire about studying abroad, right? So going for a bachelor's or master's, they directly try and go search for an university, right? Not many of them, they know about the existence of a pathway programs, right? And as you correctly said, that pathway programs help them out to go and then to find out, to, let's say, help them immerse into that international, perspective, and then you, as a provider, will make that transition very, very smooth, right? They don't just have to jump into the university and all of a sudden they are like, oh wow, where am I, right? So tell us about the programs that comes in as a pathway program, right? So what areas are you looking at, and how can you help students transition into those universities that they aim to graduate from?
Yeah, so we run a number of pathway programs with a number of really popular universities in the UK. But at each one of our partners, we're delivering the key areas that we know a lot of our students are looking for. These are often stuff like business, computing, engineering, areas that we know students are interested in. But at each location we're teaching, the course is slightly different. And that's because we plan all of our courses in partnership with the university. like you say, there needs to be a linked up approach, a joined approach where students feel like they're on the right track in making the right choices. So with each of our university partners, we sit down and say, how are you developing your curriculum? What are the kind of modules you're teaching? What are the mindsets? What are the key skills that you want students to develop over 3 years? And when we're working with them, how do we embed that in our curriculum and make that process feel as integrated as possible? For all of our programs, students are on a combined CAS, so they're on one visa for their pathway program and their undergrad or potentially postgrad studies. So it's a very smooth transitional period. Students have access to all the same facilities as any other student, so they do feel like they're part of our international community and part of the wider university. So a lot of our students talk about, feeling that sense of community from day one, the journey that they're on, holistically making sense, and just a smooth transition that we're well practiced at.
And also what I can take away from this is it's like a guardian away from home, taking care of the students, ensuring that they are on the right track and they are getting what they are looking for, right? So I think it's wonderful that if students get to understand this, then I think it's better to prepare yourself first and then go and take the bigger opportunities, right? So now on that note, students today are not just asking, where can I study, right? So they are asking, where can I build my future, right? So that's why, do you think the landscape of study abroad has been changing a little bit? You find students more prepared in terms of what university they pick or where they want to go? So do you see that changes happening?
I think it's one of those things where it's a big decision for our students, and we fully understand that, for a lot of our students, this might be the most impactful decision of their life. And as you say, it's not just kind of pick where my friend went and hope it goes okay. This is a big decision in their future, and students are planning out what the next, 1 year looks like, 3 years looks like, 5 years looks like, 10 years looks like. And that's the right way of approaching it, to think, where do I want to go? And for some of our students, they're thinking about careers. Some of them, they're thinking about kind of the modules they want to teach. Some of them are thinking about just the skills they want to develop. But yeah, there's a definite kind of, what is my long-term future and how does this degree support me on that?
And also, let's say, degrees open doors, right, for students, but skills determine how far they go, right? What do you think international students need to develop in their skills? What are the skills that's required for students, not just academically, they have to be sound, but what are the other skills you would like to see on international students?
Great question. So I do a lot of interviews for staff, and in the UK we use something called competency-based questions, where we're often asking, tell me about a time when you did X, Y, Z. And as you were saying, it's not just about the degree of the paper that, I've got this piece of paper that says you can now employ me. But employers are looking for your experience, what you've done, how you can communicate it, what value you add with the things you have learnt. And for students, kind of, the practical hands-on nature of UK degrees and the experience they get, and during their degree, taking the time to embrace every opportunity, go to kind of classes where they are learning, experiencing and developing skills in a kind of practical way, in an industry-led way. That's what goes on to get students kind of their longer-term career success, because it's the skills, not the paper.
Okay, and also I would like to add, there's one set of skills, right? The soft skills, as you said, communication and this and that. So if students would want to work in the UK for some extra money, then what can be that skill, right? I see most of the students doing barista training, right? Coffee making. Will they get a chance to make a coffee in the UK and earn for themselves, or there's something else that they should do instead?
There's lots of different areas. Hospitality, as you mentioned, is one of the big ones. Care is another area in the UK that's very popular. But in general, I find with students, the main advice I give them is going to a university careers support advice. One of the problems I see is sometimes students come with a prepared CV that they haven't localized to the UK. So for example, I once had a student say, it's been 3 weeks and I can't find a job, what should I do? he shared with me his CV, and he had a photo of himself on the CV that locally was very normal for him. In the UK, not so much. Once he'd taken that off, he started finding opportunities.
This is not the first UK episode that I'm doing, but no one pointed that out. Like CV with a photo, without a photo makes a difference.
Huge
right?
difference.
See, and that's such a small information that's there, which we have been ignoring it. But once we know that, it made a life-changing decisions, right?
And this is why I always tell students, you know, it's okay to get support, localized help day one. If you're looking for a job, fantastic. You know, part-time students develop skills at a part-time job, finance at a part-time job. But if you speak to a local person in the careers hub, they know the employers that are looking for staff. They can look at your CV and tidy things up and, you know, put it in line for a UK market expectations. And UK universities are really happy to help you with that and just take the support that we want to give you.
And also, like somebody told me that international students should open up, right? So open up is opening yourself to others, right? Do not hesitate to ask questions. Many a times you see in a group of students, there's only one student who's going up to the professor or up to the international student service and asking all questions on behalf of the bunch of people who's outside, right? So that's why that person is outspoken, extrovert, and gets most of the opportunities, while others who wanted someone else to represent them are like not getting that much of opportunity that they want. So what other qualities do you think international students should get in order to succeed overseas?
Yeah, great question. I think a lot of our students who I see who are successful show a lot of kind of resilience, determination, grit. You know, I've lived in other cultures, I've been to other backgrounds, and whenever you go somewhere new, there's a period of adjustment. And it's our students who are able to say like, okay, I accept this is different, I accept this is something new for me, but I'm going to keep going to class, I'm going to give 110%, even if, you know, there are times things are different to me. I'm going to learn, I'm going to adapt, I'm going to survive. Those are the students that have that kind of resilience and dig deeping that are not only get good degree results, but good life experience, good career experience, and kind of, you know, just the ability to, like you say, if there's a bunch of you and you're shy, deciding that I am the person that's going to lead this, they're the people that are going on to special things.
Yeah, no doubt. So what, let's say there might be students who are researching on themselves where they want to go, which university to pick, right?
Yeah.
Do you see any common mistake that the students are making when it comes to selecting the university or the program, or I'll go where my friend is going kind of thing?
Yeah.
So what can be the common mistakes?
I think my general advice in this area is sometimes students believe like, oh, I have heard of this city, therefore that's a good choice for me. I've not heard of this location, it's not a good choice for me. And that sometimes sucks them into, maybe they just pick expensive cities because the brand is so famous and they could have gone somewhere else, or there's a fantastic opportunity for a specific course or a specific experience that students mix kind of like, I've heard of this city versus I've not heard of this city, as this is the right university for me and this is not the right university for me.
Students around your headquarter in London are crowded like anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's because everyone has heard about London and then they dream to be there, and then that's why maybe the city is expensive and everything is going high, whereas just go an hour drive to left, right, north and south, and then you go to a city which is as equally good as London and cheaper for students.
Yeah, we definitely have students that are attracted because we have London-based options, and they want London and they love London. Maybe they've got friends, a community, a network, or another reason for selecting London. And I always say that's great, you'll go, you'll have a fantastic time. We have other students that come to me and they say, you know, for me, one of my key priorities is budget. So what's your cheapest London option? And I'm saying, but like, oh, but why London? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I say, okay, well, let's explore what's important to you. If budget's a criteria, I understand that, but are you looking for a student experience? What course are you looking for? You know, what about accommodation costs? Do you know people? And when we sit down and kind of look holistically into what's important to them.
Okay, so that was wonderful introduction about Malvern International, and then we we talked a lot about how can we help students, right?
Yes.
And then I'll ask you these 10 questions. You can answer as soon as you have answer in your head. So are you ready, David?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's do it. One word to describe today's international students.
Oh, proactive.
Proactive. Most underrated study destination right now.
Anywhere that's a city you've not heard of.
Okay. One skill every student should develop before going abroad.
Communication.
Okay, that's soft skills. Biggest mistake students make during applications.
Not starting early enough.
Okay, the late applications. GPA or communication skills, which matters more long term?
Communication every time.
Yep. One thing students worry about too much.
The exact timetable before they arrive. A lot of time we get a lot of questions on that. It will be what it will be, and put your studies first.
Okay. Most important factor when choosing a university?
General fit. You know, don't buy into a brand. Think about what matters to you and find a university that has those traits.
And should they look for the affordability part as well, or compare the affordability with the opportunity?
I think it depends on each person. Like if for each student, if priority, I understand that for a lot of our students, you know, cost is an important factor.
Sure.
If it is, factor it in. If it isn't, don't factor it in.
One habit that helps students succeed overseas.
Similar to earlier, but communication, resilience, determination.
A study abroad trend that will grow in the next 5 years.
Ooh, I think masters or undergrad with a combined work placement.
One piece of advice for South Asian students in 2026.
Start early.
Start early, find the right program, and then right fit, and then go for it 100%, right?
Yeah.
Move on to another segment. Now, this segment is very, very important for those who are watching us, because they hear a lot of things about different, like about universities, about programs, about destination as well, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we see not all students going to the same destination. So now it's our time to separate fear with facts, right? So there will be some myths coming on the screen here, and then we'll try to see whether it's a fact or a myth. And I want you to give the answer. Let's see if we can bust these myths.
Perfect.
So the first myth that's coming on the screen: only students with top grades can study abroad successfully. So is it academic results that define student will be successful, or there's more than that?
I would say 100% myth. Okay. And for a couple of reasons. Number one, you know, routes to success exist for students with different grades. Number two, as I said earlier, kind of education systems are different. I've personally worked with one student that entered a program with low grades, and it turned out her schooling all her life had been memorize, you know, 10 pages of information. And she couldn't memorize just bulk information, because that isn't the best way to learn. She entered a new environment, new teaching style, and suddenly a new world unlocked to her, and she was incredibly academically strong.
Okay, so that's a myth. So now we go to a second myth that's there, and let's see what comes in on the screen. The second myth is that's coming in. Let's see if it's a myth or a fact. International students should only focus on academics. Don't do this, don't do that. Academic. You start and end your degree, come back. So what do you say, David?
I think your experience in the UK is about developing skills. Academic skills are part of it. Soft skills are part of it. Experience is part of it. Mindset is part of it. Critical thinking is part of it. It goes so much deeper to be successful.
Yeah, so again, that's a myth there. So let's go to the third one, and let's see what is it. Third myth on the screen is pathway or foundation programs are weaker than direct university admissions. So I hear this a lot of time, that they say go to university, don't go to a place where it has pathway programs, and then I don't know why. I don't understand why, right? So tell us, you'll be the right person today to tell us that how is it not a good way to go for a pathway or foundation program?
Again, it's 100% a myth. If we look at kind of one of our most popular programs in South Asia, it's an international year one course. So that's helping students finish on the same timeline for the same price point, the same final certificate. But it means in your first year, you're getting additional support, you're getting additional time to adapt, you're sat in a class with a maximum of maybe 20 people compared to the back of a lecture theatre with 200.
Let's see what that myth is. Is it a fact or a myth? David will tell us about this. Studying abroad guarantees immediate career success. So now those who are back home and then those who are going abroad, does it guarantee success, David?
There's no guarantees in life, unfortunately, so that's definitely a myth. I definitely see a lot of our students who start with us are successful. They go on to great things, but it's about kind of in the right environment, putting 110% in. If you come to the UK and you're not focused in your studies, you might not be able to get to where you want to go.
Okay, so that was myth-busting segment. You did excellent on that. Before we move on to a students and parents Q&A section, let me ask you, how many jobs are available in the UK for international students, and are they allowed to work in the UK?
Yeah, definitely. So students are allowed to work in the UK up to 20 hours per week during term time and more than that outside of term time. A lot of our students, they do get part-time work. They're successful finding part-time work. They often, as you mentioned earlier, work in hospitality, but also sometimes events or care as well. These tend to be the big ones, but there are lots of opportunities in the UK for students.
And also, will Malvern International help them out in the first year to prepare them at least for tomorrow?
Yeah, so I always say to students, we work in collaboration with university partners, and the University Job Shop, as I said earlier, day one, if you're thinking career, they know the local companies, they know who's looking for support, who's looking for staff. They're a great first place to go.
Okay, so there are some worried parents because behind every application there is a family sacrifice and a student chasing their dreams, right? 100. So there are lots of questions that we receive. We pick a few of them and then we put it on the screen for you to answer. So let's put up on the screen the first question from audience who are watching us today. So the first question on the screen is I feel overwhelmed by the number of universities and programs available. How should students narrow down their options? So there are lots of them, right? Lots of options. They sit down on the internet, they search, there are tons of universities, programs coming up, and they are like, oh my God, everyone looks good on internet, right?
Yeah.
So how do they narrow that down?
Yeah, great question. So I always advise students, the first thing is to think about what factors are important to you. Make a short list, be it price, be it location, be it careers. Think about what's important to you. And I love for our students these days, it is getting easier and easier to look at your options. So a lot of our students now are choosing to use AI. Some will visit education counsellors, some will use AI, some will just soak in universities to look at their websites. Some will watch videos like this to have a consideration of where their best options are. But there are lots of different ways of doing it, but there's kind of assessing your options, not feeling overwhelmed, and narrowing down what your core picks are and finding a university that resonates with those values. Okay,
yep, actually. Let's go and then let's see the second question that's coming from South Asia again. So, my parents are worried about sending me abroad for the first time. What advice would you give families who are nervous about this transition? Because students that have never been abroad and they're going to UK for the first time, let's say. So what advice do you want to give?
Yeah, I totally feel this one. We have thousands of students every year where it's the first time that, the baby bird is leaving the nest and parents are thinking, oh, but my child's going so far. We have such high levels of pastoral care for our students. On all of our courses, we're checking in, we're making sure they're okay, we're keeping an eye on their attendance, we're speaking with them every day, we're putting on events for them to make friends and feel part of a community. That I understand the worry that parents go through, but from our perspective, we are spending so much time to look after those. We know the responsibility it is for us, and we take the pastoral care side of things really carefully, really sensitively.
Okay. And then let's look, we have two more questions, so let's look at the question number 3. where it's something about academics, I guess. So I come from an average academic background. Can I still build a strong international career if I work hard and develop the right skills? I think we covered a little bit of this, but I want you to answer. Yeah,
definitely. I would say we see students from all walks, all backgrounds. Education is one of the great levelers of society. I think that if you can give it 110%, and if you know, even if you come from an average background, it's about where you go and how you push yourself and how you develop. So, yeah.
Correctly answered. Let's go to the fourth question, and that will be the last question of the day. So I think when it comes to UK, there are lots of changes on the rules, right? So with changing visa rules and global economic uncertainty, is studying abroad still a good investment today?
Yeah, I would say so, because it's an investment in the most important thing, yourself.
Yeah.
The things you learn, you're going to keep with you forever. The skills you develop, the mindset you develop, the new way of looking at the world is something that you can carry with you no matter where you go. So even if some students have uncertainties in the short term, long term, they still carry their experience with them and they can still go on to do great things.
And also, David, students sometimes, they don't need motivation, they need clarification, right? And then you are there who cleared all the myths, who cleared all the Q&A, and then I'm sure a right guidance can push students to the right direction, right? So sometimes they lack guidance, and then they choose a wrong university, a program, and they go to, like, they pick what their friends pick, and then they know that, okay, friend picked it because it was good for him, but not for the person who picked it, right? So that's why now that is all about what we do at Global EduTalks. Now, one final question to you, David. How can Malvern International help out international students in their future academic careers? So I want you to tell to the audience directly on the camera here.
So everyone, I hope you've had a good time watching today and taken away kind of the key message of kind of there has never been a more exciting time to start your life journey, to think about your future and to do something amazing. And at Malvern International, we work with a number of different university partners in the UK where we're on campus teaching students, helping them improve their lives, helping them make the best decision and go on to great things. So if you're thinking about studying overseas, if you think now is the time to change your life, get in touch. The team here can talk to you about your options, think about what you'd like to study, and just start that journey now.
Thank you very much, David. That was excellent, and I'm privileged to have you in my show today.
Great to be here, Jackson. Thanks for having me.
Yes, everyone, that was Global EduTalks, Malvern International, David Thompson, Director of Student Operations. And then most of the students, they don't know what is a pathway program and what is first year foundation. So if you have watched this show, now you know what it is. It is getting your pressure off your shoulder. Malvern International will do all they can to better prepare you for your university study, right? And then if you have any question, help@globaledutalks.com is the email address that's on your screen. And also you can scan the QR code that's coming on your screen so that you can get free resources. You'll get a summary page of Malvern International. You'll get guidebook and everything related to UK so that you can better prepare for your future study. Because as I say, the world rewards those who are prepared. Saying that is end of the show. I'm Jackson Subedi and you're watching Global EduTalks, your window to study abroad. Thank you.